and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. There is no need for an intro. You already know the people who are in the building, of course. See, people, it doesn't get better than this. I'm back again. See, people, work, worries of the world trying to hold me down. But you know what? Yeah, none of these things can actually hold me and Oregon Gunner down. We're back again with another show again. I know, I've been lacking, with time, but see, guys, yeah, I can assure you that I will do shows whenever I really have the time to really pull up and do it. So, big up
Right.
to everyone who have been following this channel and who keep showing this channel love. Big up to you guys. See ya. With that much ado, with that much introduction, Oregon gonna talk to these people, man. You're welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Tony. I'm getting ready for Wednesday's showdown to see who the big bosses in the Champions League, so to speak, get in. I'm pretty
Getting there, getting
about it,
there.
bro.
But let's address. Come on, Oregon, come on, man.
Yeah,
You're not gonna do
yeah,
this, man. Come on, man. Let's address
right.
the elephant in the room. I mean, when I came in here 2 weeks ago and told you that I really feel that this
You did
Real
have
Madrid game would be like a
the
David to Goliath fight, where the David is gonna throw a slingshot. And you laughed. I mean, you laughed me off. You didn't really laugh. I mean, I know other people
no,
that laughed me off, but you didn't really laugh me off. But you were
no.
like,
I
it's not gonna happen. My
when
brother,
we were
I hope you've changed your mind. Aces is in the building. Aces said that we were
right,
going to be
man,
mauled, we are going to be beaten and
right,
forgotten at the
right.
Emirates. But, Aces, let's say I got the answer on this one. How about Oregon Gunner? Defend yourself. Talk to these people.
Okay, I will defend myself all day, Tony. There are things I got wrong about the match. First off, I thought we were going to draw. I really did. I thought we were going to go there and, well, not go there. I'm sorry. I thought it would be a lot tighter game. I think everyone really did, right? The game was be played really more in the midfield, which it wasn't. It was just kind of all over the place, especially in the first half.
Mm,
So I I think that the areas I got it wrong in, and hey, I'm a prideful guy. I just want justice for my club, right? So where I got it wrong was I thought we'd be hoofing balls to Moreno, right? Just to avoid their midfield, to put Rudiger
yeah,
and the Senso kid on their back foot, right? And we know Moreno isn't the one,
yeah.
but if Moreno can get a ball down, maybe in the box, turn and shoot, right? Similar to what he did, but maybe make something, right? Because I had no real cause and reason to think that we were going to move the ball through the midfield, right? Well,
Hmm.
I was wrong. We moved the
But,
ball
but
through the
again,
midfield
but again, you know our
very
midfield
well.
is more. You know our midfield is more better. You know our midfield
Well,
is more
I'm getting there.
youthful. I mean, they have
I'm getting there
Modric. I
too.
mean, a
Right, right,
dinosaur who is in the midfield of that Madrid
right.
team. Yeah, they have Camavinga, who I do respect, but I mean, it's not like. I mean, the midfield has always been Arsenal's biggest strength going
Well, right.
forward.
No, that's part. What, yeah, that's what I'm getting to is that I really thought that we would avoid that though because I don't know if I don't really trust Odegaard to move the ball through the midfield, even though he did pretty
Yeah.
well in the second half, right? So there's just times where I thought we would struggle with that. Well,
Mm,
slap me in the back of the head. I was wrong. We moved the ball through the midfield very well. To be honest, it was like at
mm.
times it was like putting a hot knife through butter. They were really open. Kamavinga did well. Valverde was a ghost. I'm sorry, I don't remember the commentators even
He
mentioning
was
his
a real
name more
ghost.
than times. He was
I
very
agree.
much a ghost.
I agree.
And Kamavinga did a decent job against Moreno and Odegaard, but he had no answer for Partey. He had no answer for Saka. He had no real answer for Declan Rice. Well, the whole squad had no answer for Declan Rice. Let's be real. And this is getting to my point:
Mm,
is that I did say though, however, if we can't move the ball offensively through the midfield, what we do have though is the physicality in midfield to knock them off the ball, to
mm.
get them on their back foot, right? And that's exactly what happened. Is we overran their midfield for most of that match, especially in the second half. I mean, we all saw it. They were pinned in, right? And we had opportunities in the first half. To be honest, Tony, it could have been 5-6-0. If Martinelli had scored in the first half, right?
7. It could have been 7.
7, right.
It could have been 7.
The game as a whole,
it could have been 7. I mean, Courtois had nearly up to 5 clean saves on the day.
Right. We played well on the day. That was probably one of the best overall Arsenal performance I've seen in a long time. I just feel like Odegaard is the weakest link in this team.
I agree.
You really analyze that game. Him and Valverde were the most ghostly of players, right? Odegaard, he can play a nice, a decent flat ball into the box. He has the trickery, bro. He can't physically keep up with some of these players, and it's really looking evident that if he loses the ball, he's no good defensively. He doesn't move the ball to both sides. He always goes to the right side when Saka's available. It's too pedestrian, bro. And so I think if we really were to analyze that, like Joanne says, Leeds pulling up Odegaard stats and I think player stats, kind of doing the comparison with Madrid. I mean, they look better on paper, right? We know this. But again, our defense was so solid, and shout out to Kiwior. We didn't think, Tony, that Kiwior would have a good game.
Shout out to Kiwior.
We were worried that he'd have a bad game, right? That he would be the weakest link. When in fact, Odegaard was, again, the weakest link. So it just goes to prove, right? He's been subbed 63 times. Incredible stat. It just goes to prove that he's just
incredible. Big ups to Joanne Smith. Big ups to Joanne Smith. And again, she says, of course, see, Oregon Gunner. I mean, let's just digest this. I knew you've already read it, but I mean, just digest this and break it down for us. I mean, Odegaard. Big up to Joanne Smith. Joanne Smith, I love you. You know that. You know that. You know that. I love you all the time. And she says, Odegaard has been substituted 63 times in his time at Arsenal. I mean, as a captain of this football club, I mean, what does that say, my brother, man? I mean, I do agree with you. He's the weakest link.
Yeah, he doesn't have the stamina. Bro, he's a feather out there. He's a Norwegian. He's a Norwegian Fabio Vieira. With a better vision and can pass. He runs the same. His body language is the same. His physical weight and stature is pretty much the same. He's the Norwegian Pablo Vieira. Fabio Vieira. Sorry, Pablo Fabio.
Is he playing injured? Is it that he's playing injured? Because, I mean, I don't know.
Not now. He was
why has his form dropped so badly? I mean, last season he carried us in some spaces, and even in games where he disappeared, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't totally zero. But now when I watch him in games, and he's a complete ghost. Like it's a complete ghost to God. I mean, it completely disappears. Before he shows up, he throws 1 or 2 passes. He could catch some players in the half turn. He could do 1 or 2 stuff. You will see him as visible. But right now, the team is literally carrying Odegaard through our journey, through whatever we're going through. In the Real Madrid matchup, we carried this guy. He's a passenger in this team. But I mean, the wins we're getting, we're glossing over things without him. I mean, it's like he's our captain, but he's neither a leader or a ball player for us.
Here's the thing. Think of what we saw in the middle 2000s. We saw the emergence, the brilliant genius football of one Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, right? And we had our Cesc Fabregas during that day as well, right? Well, Cesc decided to take a tour, back to Barcelona and so forth, and ended up in West London, etc. So the thing is that Declan Rice is our Lampard or Stevie G, right? So we need to find something to supplement Rice. That's the thing. So it's kind of like you have Rice on the left, where you have this strong physical presence who can carry the ball from box to box, right? He's essentially our box to box mid. And then you have someone like Partey at the base of it, covering the back four and able to spread the ball out wide and so forth, and play the ball up through the middle and with pinch passes, thread the needle sometimes. And then you have Odegaard, who kind of just floats around and does, Cruyff turns and so forth. and sometimes it comes off. But this is a player, Tony, that has more touches of the ball than he has minutes on the fucking pitch. I mean, really, watch him play football. You referee, you watch games in, games out of probably young kids playing or older adults, or maybe you're in the mid-30s. I don't know exactly what age group you're reffing, maybe a sort, but you've seen players that are, again, come from the elite school of football. He's not a blue-collar, iron worker, East London, West Ham type player, right? He's not built like an English footballer. You know, he comes from the finesse school of football. You know what I mean? And there's a place for that, right? And it's called the Italian League. It's called the French League, right? Because the Italian League.
I agree with you.
Like an AC Milan, a Juventus, right? An Odegaard at Juventus would cook. An Odegaard at Inter or AC Milan or Fiorentina or Napoli would cook. The Prem is just not for him. He's a nice kid. He's got a beautiful family.
But the Premiership is not. It's not stopping you. I don't think so. It's too slow for this.
I know some of our friends like Lee and Kenny and Jezza really don't want him even like around, and I get it. I think it's time to sell him. I think PSG is a perfect option for him. You know, there's clubs out there where he would thrive in that style of football, but this ain't it. And his decision.
I don't think we might need to sell him.
Think about the decision.
I don't think we might need to sell him. We might keep him on the bench for
60, 70 mil.
I mean,
Tony, would you take
for squad depth.
for him? Tony, would you take 70 mil for him?
Yeah. I'll take 70 mil. However, Arsenal still don't have squad depth. And that's the bigger problem. We don't have squad depth. Liverpool do have squad depth. We don't.
Right. Well, spending the money, okay, you buy a $40 million midfielder and you buy a solid $30 million. You buy 2 for 1. We don't have to go out and spend like for like, Tony. Right? That's the problem.
But again, how sure are we of the quality? How sure are we of the quality of the person coming in? That's another thing.
You know names in Europe, right? You can throw whatever name you want in there. That would be a good number 10, 8 hybrid role because that's what he is, right? But he doesn't do the number 8 work, Tony. He does the number 10 work. He just doesn't do the defensive 8 work, right? And that's where he ghosts.
Yeah.
If he was more physical, would attack the ball, I wouldn't have a problem with that. He just doesn't attack when we're on defensive. Does that make sense? He's too busy kind of floating around, where people to go, just being kind of in the way. We don't need someone who's in the way. We need someone who's physical and get the ball off the opposition and get the ball on the counterattack and up the pitch to Saka and then over to, Gyökeres if he comes in and bang 1-0 the Arsenal. I'm not going to attack the guy like some of our YouTuber friends do, because I know some folks out there are really upset with him, right? Really see him as a major, major flaw in the squad. And I see him as a flaw, but I don't think he's the overall overreaching problem, right? I think it's still the ethos of Arsenal. We've got bigger problems with, like you said, squad depth, so forth, and selling players and losing money, But
Oregon get it.
I sell them.
I do agree with you. I do agree with you that he has to play a big part next season. Yeah, but we do need to bring in someone, and we do need squad depth. That's what I know. If we're not getting squad depth, no need to sell him off. If we're not getting up to 70, 60 million pounds for Martin Odegaard, there's no need to sell him. Keep him for squad depth and bring in someone who would play in that position, because someone else could give us more in that number 10 position. Even I could even use Ethan Waneri in that position. He's gonna cook. But meanwhile, we still need to bring in another number 10. But again, throw that all away. Still back to this Real Madrid, because that's the only sensible area that we can actually win a trophy this season. Mikel Arteta. After that win against Real Madrid, did you feel like Mikel Arteta had an effect in that game? Or would you just say, because I've seen so many podcasters, they're not crediting Mikel Arteta with that win.
Right.
They're saying it was the guys that did it.
Right.
Did Mikel Arteta had any effect in that game? did he bring them forward in an in an arranged manner? How was his arrangement?
Right.
I mean, did he do things correctly? Would you credit him with that win?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because he this the tactic or the strategy he used to have Declan Rice roam so free on that left side worked. Because what he did
Mm,
is he brought Martinelli out way, way wide. So that opened up the hole between the right back and Rudiger. And it worked perfectly. The idea was to get Declan the ball and let him take it up that left
yeah,
side, right? And if we can
yeah.
we can
That was the idea, right?
create a gap, right? If we could overload the right, get the ball to Saka, overload the right, get it to Odegaard, or pass the ball through Odegaard, behind him or in front of him,
Mm,
where he doesn't touch it directly to Rice, right? That whole left side was open for us. And that's where you saw even Lewis Skelly
yeah,
penetrating, right? You saw Lewis Skelly, our left back, dribbling the ball the
exactly.
halfway line, passing it down to Timber, and then Timber moving it through Saliba, and then Skelly's all of a sudden across the halfway line trying to run towards the 18-yard box, right? And that's the thing. Lewis Skelly,
Yeah,
at 18 years old, outperformed our captain. And I'm not going back to Odegaard, but I'm just saying that left side
he
was open like,
outperformed our
yeah,
captain.
I mean,
I
that
mean,
left side
I
was open like
solidly
a
agree
whorehouse
with
in
you.
Vegas,
I
bro. It
solidly
was,
agree with you.
yeah, it was
I
wide
solidly agree
open.
with you.
Yeah, so I think the
It
strategy,
was wide open.
part of the strategy it's just to
And again,
isolate Declan
someone me
Rice
and
with
you
the
have
ball.
criticized. Sorry, I couldn't hear
It's
you.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to say the strategy
Okay.
was to isolate
Someone me and
Declan
you
Rice
have
with the ball.
Okay. Someone me and you have actually criticized this season, Martinelli. I mean, he had a field day in the first leg of that game. I mean, isn't that the Martinelli you want to see turn up?
Yeah,
I mean, week in, week
well,
out in the game. I
yeah,
mean,
I know.
that left hand side was on a lockdown. He was
Yeah,
actually putting his head up. He was looking forward. He wanted to take his man. He took his man. He dribbled his man. He made a public show of them. And
mhm,
while he was penetrating down that left hand side, that left a whole lot of room for Bukayo Saka to just roll around in that right hand
right.
side and cause so much damage. And 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 the way, see, yeah, the height of the damage down that right hand side, yeah, because Saka could do whatever he had the license to do
Right,
whatever he could do,
right.
to do whatever he wants, untouched,
Roger, Vinny
unstopped
Jr. doesn't
in that right
defend.
hand side.
Vinny
Yeah,
Jr. doesn't
exactly. And
defend. Yeah,
again, you're playing against the Real Madrid side that can't defend. That's true.
yeah. Yeah.
So
So
to what extent
Rodrigo,
Martinelli's game going to help us out tomorrow? Because if he's
mm,
going to be down that left hand side, is kind of like creating chances, open up spaces down that left hand side, dragging players down that left hand side. That could just open up that right hand side for Bukayo Saka to just cause,
I
the
hope so.
mayhem down there in the
But
Bernabeu.
they will have Chouameni back, and they'll have Danny Ceballos back. So there's
Mm,
people are saying, "Oh my God," like Acers are saying, he could be a big difference. I don't know, man. I really don't know. And the thing is, remember, they have to score 4 goals. That's the icing on the cake, right? If we
exactly.
go there and put out a
They need to
stinker
score
nil-nil,
4 goals.
yeah, they need to score 4 goals. I don't think Carlo Ancelotti is going to go for 3 and then say, "Oh, guys, we'll just do it in penalties." I don't think that. I think, and Acers has commented on earlier shows. I think they're going to
It's
come out
been
and they're
two
going to try and
years since anyone has
shoot
put
the
three
goals
goals
as soon as
past
they
us.
can.
Statistically,
Right.
it's been 2 years since when any other
It's going
team
to be
has
right.
put more
But
than
that's where
two
it
goals
breaks down to
past us.
another place, Tony. That
I
crowd
doubt
is
it.
something else,
Aces,
bro.
I doubt
Crowd
it.
is something else. That crowd is something else to burn
Aces, I
about.
doubt it. I don't think Madrid can put 3 goals past this Arsenal defense, even if it's a makeshift defense. The last time we conceded more than 2 goals was two
And
years
Luton,
ago.
it was Luton.
I don't think so.
It was the Luton game when we beat Luton 4-3.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, right?
No, last season. 2 years ago it was
Was it
Bournemouth.
last
Remember
season?
with Reese? 2 years ago was Reese with the wonder kick at Bournemouth. It was 4-4. Remember the
Yeah.
4-4? Right. And then the following
That
season
game
it was
with
Luton.
Luton. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But again, I don't see Madrid putting 4 goals past us. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I literally don't see it.
Yeah, no, I don't see it. I don't. Right. What I do, but I do see them. You know what? Like Acers was saying. 2 quick goals, because if we get off on the wrong foot, or we make some mistakes because it's such a big event, because of the moment, because of the crowd, the 12th man, right? If that comes into play very early, we could be in trouble. And so he's saying again, he's sticking to it. He says they could score 2 quick goals, and we will be in a heap of shit if that happens, right? Because it'll be a battle from there on out. But if we score the first goal, tie's done. Tie's done. I think if we score any goal, the tie's done.
Okay. See what Aces says here. See what Aces says here. Aces says Madrid scored 4 goals against Real Sociedad 2 weeks ago. I hear you, but Real Sociedad isn't Arsenal defensively. I mean, let's be very honest when we're making this. When we are making this. See, guys, I'm only bringing perspectives. Yeah, and these are the perspectives that no one listened to me when I was saying it exactly 2 weeks ago when I declared that Arsenal was going to smash up Madrid. No one listened to me. No one listened to the perspectives. Now I'm starting with the same perspectives again, and I just need a listening ear in this one. I hear you when you talk about Real Sociedad, but I mean Real Sociedad is in Arsenal defensively. Arsenal is one of the best defensive sides in Europe right now, currently. And we're playing with that Gabriel. And we played against the Real Madrid, and they couldn't score even a goal at home against us. I mean, if we're very critical of our defense, I mean, if we're Madrid couldn't score a goal against us.
Right, but again, we got to go there, bro. We have to go there, and that is a difficult place to play. And this, to Acer's point and to your point, is Sociedad scored 4 goals on them too, right? The game ended 5-4 in aggregate. It was a wild match, But I guess to his point as well, that he's saying that anything can happen, right? If Real Sociedad can score 4 against them, you would think Arsenal can, but that's not always the case, right? We've seen Madrid lose to Leganes this year. They've lost to Valencia just like 3 weeks ago, 2-1. So they lost to Valencia.
Real Betis, bro, the list goes on and on. Real Betis, Valencia, Athletic Bilbao, Lille, bro. This team is invincible.
That was part of my analysis last time we talked, was that they don't have
last time we talked about it. Yeah.
They don't have. They had zero fight against our high press because they don't face teams like us in the Liga. And I said that's a major factor for
they
us.
have no answer against them.
They don't face that high press week in and week out that we do even against some teams, right? You could say Liverpool, City, etc. But the thing is they weren't ready for that sort of defensive style, right? But see, the issue is, and again, the Acer's point is they're going to be ready for that now, right? So we have to be creative going there and not just, press them, right? We've got to be able to shut down players that are going to be extremely amped to win this game. Vinny, and there's the other aspect too. And listen to this, Tony, before you go.
I mean, Arsenal have gone away from
maybe Madrid just didn't get it out of second gear against us. Maybe we've seen City go lose games only in second gear, right? They were Crystal Palace. It took them to get in the third gear. Maybe Madrid just didn't get out of third gear. So maybe there's something we're missing. But I don't tend to believe that. I tend to believe that they did not have an answer for our press.
Oregon, Dal, come on, man.
I thought it was one of our best matches.
I have to disagree with you on this one. I mean, now the narrative now is, maybe maybe their heads weren't in it. I mean,
No,
come on,
no, that's
man.
not the narrative.
Why
No,
can't
that's
we
what I've
just
heard.
say that this Arsenal
That's not
team
the
is
narrative.
more better than Real Madrid?
No, no, no. That's
I
not the
mean,
narrative.
there's no shame. No
That's
doubt.
not the
There's no
narrative.
shame in saying that this Arsenal team is more
I
better
know.
than Real Madrid.
I'm
I
not
mean,
saying that's
I
the
mean, let's
narrative,
call a
bro.
spade a spade. We scored with 3 unreplied goals.
Right.
And I keep saying it. Real Madrid this season completely shit. Mbappe struggling to score goals, struggling to even stay off the suspension list. The
Mm.
only midfielder I like there this season is actually Ceballos, who actually failed in this league, and Camavinga. And
You have a
Camavinga
good
is
point.
suspended for the game coming up tomorrow. So I mean, why can't we just say, hey, Arsenal is better than Real Madrid? It's simple. I mean,
We
it's
will
a
after
simple
Wednesday. I
thing.
believe you, Tony. I believe we're going to beat them and go through. I believe we're going to beat them on aggregate, whatever it turns out, right? But and I'm not saying that's a narrative. Those are some of what I've heard on some channels is that possibly Madrid, didn't lose on purpose, so to speak, but just didn't get out of third gear or second gear, whatever you want to call it, right? But I'm with you. I'm saying that we performed exceptionally well. Declan Rice had a career game. Thomas Partey and Timber were absolutely
Yeah.
two of the best players their matches they've ever played. Kiwior was flawless. The first 5 minutes, he had his shit scared on that counter, right? But other than that, those
Yeah.
shit in your pants moments are going to happen, especially more at the Bernabeu. I do think we go there.
Yeah, they're going to happen. I
I think we
agree.
go there. We do what we have to do. If we lose 1-0, we lose 1-0. But I am not going to let anyone say that we didn't perform against Madrid because that game last week was absolutely fucking phenomenal 2 weeks ago. It was. And again,
I
it's
mean,
hope.
I can't
A lot of
remember
a lot of the
any
fan
English
base.
team.
It's put a lot of the
I
fan
mean,
base
Oregon
together.
Gunner, I can't remember any English team that has put up that type of performance in European
Against,
football in the last 2 years. I mean, I've not
right.
seen a team completely malhandle Real Madrid. I mean, I've seen
I
Madrid
agree.
not play wonderfully well in the final and still win.
Sure.
I've seen that, but it wasn't an 80% kind of performance. This one, in all departments last week, when we played against Real Madrid, we defeated them in all departments. Striking department, because Merino is now our makeshift striker. He scored a goal, by the way, a very beautiful goal. No
Great
one,
goal.
I mean, people have taken the gloss away from that goal, but that was a beautifully well taken goal.
Kai
And
Havertz
to be
doesn't
very
score that.
sincere with you, I'm starting to see a pattern here. That guy might be even more better than Kai Havertz
You
in
think?
terms of composure in
Right.
front of goal.
Technical ability, composure, same height, right?
Yeah,
They're out
his
roughly the same
technical
height, same
ability, his
build.
composure in front of
Yeah.
goal is
Yeah,
lethal.
it's
It's
kind of
lethal.
funny because you could
If
really
he
look
uses
at
his head,
this.
he's strong.
Right.
He could score
You could,
goals. I'm literally thinking he's better than Kai Havertz.
we got waffle.
You
You
know,
really
his
look if you
composure
look
is second to none. I really love it.
if
Big up
if
to
you really
Waffle TV, my guy, my brother out there in Turkey. Big up to you, my brother.
chilling. Oh,
You
that's
know,
right.
yeah.
Turkey, dang.
God
Yeah,
bless
I
you,
mean,
Waffle
it really
TV.
is kind of
That's my real bro, man. Yeah.
the Moreno thing's interesting because it really does make you second guess or really analyze the striker position, right? We're always thinking of it as this fast moving, fluid, Henri like style person that can just score from anywhere in the box, and he's Van Nistelrooy like and so forth. And then there's kind of the opposite side of the coin of that. You can use your striker to literally just hold up the ball and play that middle gap position, right? And that's essentially and that's the false nine, right? Description essentially. But I think with Moreno is that he has a better footballing IQ than Kai Havertz. He's instinctually
I
better.
totally
than
agree,
Kai
actually.
Havertz, right?
I
He
agree.
doesn't have the mobility aspects, but again, that's what you define your striker as. What you want them to do as a manager tactically. Like if we get Gyökeres, and I don't want to get in a big discussion, but I think it's 60% of the time. I do think we're going to get Gyökeres this summer, to be honest. I think he's our number one target. You get someone like Gyökeres who can run around and create. Jesus, as much as we
Who
dog
can
Jesus,
run around, yeah.
and run and create. Moreno's not going to run around.
But I'm talking of this season now. I'm talking of this season, what we have now. Can we win the Champions League with what we have now? I mean, see, you know what, yeah? I've always been arguing about the European football. There is a big, big, big downturn in European football this season. Even last season, I've seen it. European football is suffering, like seriously suffering. Many of these Premiership teams, yeah, would smash up these big teams in Europe.
Right.
I kid you not. Head to head, they're gonna smack up all these top football clubs, top leagues. The teams in the Premiership right now, bro. Do you know what it means to play against Brentford, ready to destroy your legs? Do you know what it means to play a team like Everton, week in, week out? Teams like that, ready to physically bamboozle you, ready to, bro.
Right.
I mean, it's good and okay when we say, oh, the level of the Premiership this season, or maybe even last season, really dropped a notch. I really understand that. But trust me, it is better than the Italian league. It is better than the Spanish league. I mean, thank God we just saw Madrid, Champions League winners, be smacked up by Arsenal. No one can argue about what we saw with our eyes. I mean, there's a big problem in European football. I fancy Arsenal chances of winning this league. And you know what? Yeah, Opta, the statistical company, just came out with a statistical underpinnings that said that Arsenal are favourites to win the Champions League this season. They've checked the whole statistics. I mean, that's just startup. I'm just saying and regurgitating what just came out. Just came out yesterday. And they're saying that Arsenal have the biggest chance of winning the Champions League. Big up to Into the Box. Big up to Waffle TV. They're in the channel. Big up to them, man. And we'll convene maybe later this week. Me, Into the Box, and Waffle TV, probably if he's chance down there. But Into the Box, I'll reach out to him to show his face down here, because he too did not really, he didn't laugh me off anyway, but he didn't really believe, but I hope he believes now. It was something, man.
But we should sometime do a show with all four of us if you want.
Sure. And Into the Box is great guy, lovely guy, family man, great guy, loves football, loves Arsenal, probably we can invite him to come dine with us on the show. Yeah.
Well, I think, Tony, over to what we were saying before about Madrid and so forth and what we can expect from the striker role. Like we were saying, Moreno's not the mobile guy like, Jesus was, or, even the most part you could say like Giroud, right, was pretty mobile as well. But Moreno provides the solidity of someone running the channels, right, that he's going to run the right channel. And as long as that player is the right position, pulling a defender away or cross running in front of the midfielder with the ball and pulling two defenders, to one side, Moreno knows to do those things, and right, he's being told that obviously by Arteta, but that's where the praise belongs. If Arteta's telling him to do, run the channels, be present, look out for headers, be physical with the center backs, he's doing that. And remember, Kai Havertz was doing that too at the beginning of 2024 when we went on that incredible 31 goals and 4 conceded. Kai Havertz was scoring goals like it was for fun because he was playing the system and playing well, but he was also just running those channels and he was in places where he needed to be, right? And then, of course, now he's flopped again. In my opinion, we need to sell him. So I think that if Moreno's doing the job, we can get something at Madrid because he can be in those places like he was in the last game to score a goal or to at least have some impact, right? That's really what we want. You know it and I know it. We've heard it on shows. The Champions League is precisely about moments, right? While the league is about consistency. Right? You have to have more than just moments to win a Premier League, but it only takes moments in the Champions League to win it all, right? And when you look, and speaking of consistency, Inter have only conceded 3 goals the whole Champions League tournament. 3. So,
but Inter could still be got at. Inter could still be good. I mean,
They
see,
beat us, Tony. We had
people,
34
yeah. I
crosses in the
mean,
box for
see,
34.
we are being overcritical about Arsenal's defense. We are being overcritical about Arsenal's defense. To be very sincere with you, throw away these Premiership teams, yeah. Aside these Premiership teams, Arsenal can defend. If we decide to keep a low block, it's the end. To be very sincere with you,
Right.
I've probed at our defensive setup this season. And to be very sincere with you, I've seen Saliba out of our defense this season. We still hold forth. Right now, and I've seen Gabriel out of our defensive setup, and we're still holding forth against the European champions. So, I mean, there's nothing anyone would tell me about our defense. I mean, it's one of the best in the world. So why can't we compare it to that of Inter Milan? I know they keep it very compact. They keep it very compact at the back, but you can actually still compare it to them. We are as good as Inter Milan defending this season. I hear you when you want to talk about the attacking setup. I hear you, Martinez and the rest of them. I get that. But again, that was what was also said about Real Madrid. And, you know, they have the old attackers, but they can't penetrate our defense. It's airtight. Shout out to Into the Box correction. He actually said that we were going to win that matchup by 2 goals to 0. He called it. Sorry, I'm confusing it. It's with
I probably said we're
what
going to
BBK actually
or whatever.
said.
It's hard to remember what commentators
anyway,
say we can show in and show out. It's hard to remember.
Oregon Gunner. Is Real Madrid, this is the big one. Is Real Madrid going to beat us up in the Bernabeu? I want to hear it from you. No stories, no narratives, no going down the hill, no Jack and Jill went up the mountains. No. Be very straight. Be very straight. Without no personifications, no irony, no hyperboles, nothing. I don't want to see any of those things. Direct talk. Is Real Madrid going to smash up Arsenal in the second leg at the Bernabeu?
Absolutely not. And here's why. They do.
Why would you say so? Why would you say so?
Because they do not have. They will not and do not have an answer for Declan fucking Rice. You know how players control games, right? There's always a player that controls games. Ronaldo did it, United, Madrid, etc. Right? And I'm not making comparisons with Ronaldo. There's always that player that takes control of the match, right? We can go back any Champions League game you want. That player sticks out, right? Declan Rice, it's his turn. It's his turn, Tony. And I can almost tell you that he's probably taking a knife with his hand, a blood oath to the Arsenal faithful that they ain't going to score 3 goals, bro. It's not going to happen. And that's where I think we go through. We may lose 2-1. We may draw 1-1. We may lose, 3-1. But we're going through because I do believe we score there. And I do believe they score as well. But I don't think it's going to be enough because I do think that these players now are playing for Arteta, which I don't think they were at certain times this season and even last season. We've mentioned it on the show before. But I think now with this hill accomplished, with this milestone that we achieved 2 weeks ago, is the wind in our sails to get us through this tie. If we have to stink it out 0-0, that's what we have to do. But I think I don't think Declan, Saka, Partey, Timber, Saliba are going to accept us sitting back. We cannot sit back and we go low block. We go through, but it's not going to be pretty and it's going to be gut wrenching to watch. And it's not going to be what we're set up to do. It's not going to be what the past tells us, right? We cannot go there and just low block. And not saying if we go, not saying that they're going to win if we do low block. I still think we go through regardless. But doing a low block is skating a very, very thin ice, right? If they're too open to play, they will beat us. If we go in there with the same game plan that we did at home, they will not beat us. They may win on
Okay.
the day. They're not going to beat us on aggregate.
Before I give you footnotes to what I think, let's see
Sure.
what
Yeah.
Aces said, because I think this is very, 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 very important. Yeah, because I've always thought that Real Madrid are the darlings of Europe. Real Madrid are they're the bourgeoisies of UEFA, and UEFA always favors them in some cases. Refs,
Mm,
I mean, we've seen lots of cases where Real Madrid have been favored. I mean, Atletico Madrid should have gone in smoking into the quarterfinals, and they should be facing
yeah.
us right now. But I mean, whatever they did to kind of like deny Atletico Madrid that penalty, good and okay, no problem. I wanted Real Madrid. I kept insisting that I don't want Atletico because I believe Atletico is a more compact team than Real
Yep.
Madrid. Defensively, they're
More
not, and
physical.
I'll give you footnotes to that. But look at what Aces have just said here. UEFA will want Real Madrid to go through. Do you agree with Aces? Because I'm not throwing that fact away, too. I'm not. I'm
No.
not. Completely not. It makes complete financial sense for UEFA
Yeah.
to actually
Sure.
say, you know what, yeah, we really want Real Madrid to go through. And we might bring
Yeah.
in a referee that we could just use as a puppet to just, gain perspectives. What do you think?
Um, I don't. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I mean, I get it. What you guys are saying, it makes sense, right? UEFA wants the showtime. They want the spectacular Madrid versus Barcelona final because that's what gets viewers to the television and that's what makes money.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a
It
little
makes financial sense, isn't
hyper-conspiratorial
it?
to me. Yeah, but it's a little hyper conspiratorial to me to think that they're just going to plop in some ref for a game of this magnitude. I just think it's a game where we cannot make mistakes. They certainly can't make
Yeah.
mistakes. And that if we really go into a low block position, we're opening ourselves up to get beat instead of just going with the playbook that we did 2 weeks ago. It's really quite simple,
Mhm.
and it's going to be more difficult with Ceballos on the pitch. But if it's any more difficult than what we faced, it's not really that hard. And I think their
Yeah.
defense is fragile. I do. I think Saka was it Alaba's their left back or right back? I forget. They're weak. Their defense is somewhat weak. Rudiger's decent in the air, but other than
It's
that,
very weak. It's
he's
very
kind of
weak.
weak. Yeah,
That defense,
and
it's
you don't
very,
get a
very
penalty.
weak.
You
It's
get
a
three
shaky
penalties, bro.
defense.
Yeah,
See, you know what? Yeah, I don't think a
it
referee
really
will give
relies
them
on this
three
their
penalties.
front
That's
three.
number one. I don't think a referee will give them three penalties. I mean, unless they want it to be
Yeah,
so
they got
blatant,
all that.
the cheating and the,
Right,
unless
right.
they want to, unless they
They'll
want
all
to
get
make it
barred.
more obvious. But throw that all away. If Real Madrid decide to come out, I don't trust their defense to keep a clean sheet. How about that? They've been
Yeah,
leaking
no,
goals throughout the
I think we
season.
can score one there. I don't think we scored two, but I
So
think we
I
can
don't
score
have a
one.
problem with them scoring 3 goals because I know Arsenal will go out and score 1 or 2.
Yeah,
Because
two is
Rudiger has been calamity. Uh,
two is pushing it,
they'll
but
try
one
to
is definitely doable.
bring in Rodrigo, and he would look lost because they're trying to insert him into that team, and it hasn't really worked
Well,
out. They're
the
going to
only
be bringing in a Chouameni
yeah,
to come and do what Kamavinga has been doing perfectly. And I don't think he's going to get that space. Modric is older. The only shining light is Courtois. And Courtois saved nearly up to 5 to 6 chances
mm,
in the last game, but 3 still got into that net. So, I mean, the perspectives into this thing,
it's
yeah.
hard to
They could
call,
score lots
bro. I
of goals,
know.
but I don't think they can keep a clean sheet.
Right. I do not think they're going to beat us 4 or 5-0 or something like that. We would have to be really, really off our game and make some really dumb mistakes for something like that. But the penalties exist, and the same way we could get a penalty there. But remember, they had opportunities at our place
Hmm.
too. The Mbappe save, Raya had an amazing game, right? So he's got to be on his sixes
Hmm.
and sevens as well, right? So
True.
he does play better at the Bernabeu, but he has to face Julian Timber, bro, who I think is, I'm sorry, one of the best right backs in Europe. He's in the top 5 for sure.
It's
I
a
would not
steal.
want to face. I would not want
He's
to face
proven to
Terry
be a
Timber.
steal.
Yeah, he's
He's
fantastic,
really
bro.
proven to be a steal.
And again, I think it's also a game of spaces, right? As you guys all know, it's a game of spaces. If Vinicius can get in the right space, the right angle, he will get the ball and hurt us. But Timber is very good at isolating players out. Like they go near it, he's already physical with them, right? Making cuts, he's right there. I think you're right, Tony. Defensively, we're just superior. We have better defenders that are just superior athletes. Alaba was fine. Danny Carvajal was really good, but he doesn't even play for them anymore. So he used to be a threat going forward. You don't see them inverting their fullbacks. Everything comes from the defensive buildup on their side, similar to us, like City as well at times. But I think we just have this, like you said in the title, we have a huge advantage. The 3-0 is massive. If it was 1-0, I'd be shitting myself. If it was 2-0, I'd be shitting myself. But 3-0 is a massive hill for them to climb. Because remember, they scored 4 at Sociedad, but Sociedad put 4 on them as well. In fact, it was 3-1 Sociedad, I think, if I remember correctly. They had to come back, right? But it was at Sociedad, and they already had the 1-0 win. And they lost to Valencia. Valencia are terrible, right? And Mbappe or somebody just got a red card. Was it Vinicius or Mbappe? Somebody got a red card.
Mbappe, he got a red card in the weekend.
But he's available for Champions League, though, right?
But he's available, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be out of the league game. So that doesn't concern us too much. And he'll be up for it too. But look, the thing is, Tony, I think you and I are on the same page that there is a huge advantage for Arsenal. It's a mountain to climb for Madrid. They are not the Madrid that they were 4, 5, 6 years ago. We know they're very good on the attack. But if you can isolate those 3 players, there's really not much else. Right? There really isn't much else. Valverde on the day can put one in at 20, 25 yards, but he's going to be ghosted out of the game, I think, as well. We'll see Valverde, Ceballos, and Kanami, whatever. I can never pronounce his name. Konami or whatever his name is. Right? Many, thank you. And it'll be difficult, right? It's not going to be easy, right? It's not going to be as easy as it was at home. But the thing is that with the 3-goal cushion, we will have an air of confidence, I think, about us that will get us that goal to give us the 4th goal. And then it's going to be a real struggle. Even if we go 2-0 down, I'm with Box. My prediction is 2-1 Madrid, but we still go through. So anyway, Tony, I've got 2 minutes for a work meeting, my brother, and I know you got another show with
ladies and gentlemen, Oregon Gunner on the show. I mean, you've heard his takes. Let's just wait for that matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, see ya. I will have a show immediately after this one with Ola Prem Talk show immediately after this show right now. I'm going to talk to these people before you go, man.
Thank you, everyone. I'm sure there's a work thing. Thank you, everyone, for joining the chat today. Thanks, Tony, for having me on the show. Great comments. I agree with our guy into the box. It's going to be 2-1. But I think Rice will be ready, and we will have Declan at the helm again. If we can get that room, we're gonna get it, bro. We're gonna go through. I'm confident.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Join us on the next show. It starts in the next 3 minutes, people. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Big up to you, people. From me and Oregon Gunner, we are out. Peace, people.
Peace.